Hello class. For this week's discussion, I went ahead and made a video again since it's available, and it's pretty fun, and I figured I better get used to it with all the technology that's having to go on for teaching. So, with the first question, who is the narrator of the first chapter? I believe that was Milne. He was reading to Christopher Robin and kind of introducing everything to him. Later, it seems more like the characters' perspectives, or just kind of Winnie the Pooh in some aspects, going through his motions and kind of offling his way through life. I believe that the first chapter obviously was written for Christopher Robin to keep his mind active in his imagination and everything like that. He uses you throughout the first chapter because he wants to make it personal that way. I believe that he used that strategy, like I said, to make it personal and kind of keep everyone engaged. If you feel like you are pulled into the book, that may be a better way of like keeping your engagement. I am familiar with many characters in the book. Winnie the Pooh has, I don't know how you could not know who Winnie the Pooh is, or Eeyore. What I didn't realize was Tigger wasn't part of the original book, and he is my favorite. For this class, I listened to the book and followed along with the PDF, so it gave me a different perspective on the book. I don't remember reading it when I was younger, but I have seen like the Tigger movie, lots of cartoons with Winnie the Pooh, several alphabet books and whatnot with Pooh theme. I don't really, I can pick out the characters. I don't really feel like I have a specific memory about the book from when I was younger or the characters, so what I do remember seemed to fit with the book as I read it. I feel like this novel is a collection of short stories because you can read them individually and not really need to know the pre-story. So the story before it doesn't necessarily have a bearing on the story you're reading. You can open it up to any chapter and just start reading, and that's why I think it's a collection of short stories. I do like the way it kind of is put together like a novel rather than short stories. I feel like that encourages children to keep reading. I know when I read to my daughter, she's like, that's the end of the story, we're done. And to get her to move on, it's nice that it says chapter 2. That means the book's not over. You have to keep reading. So even though they read like short stories and you can read them that way, I like that it's kind of written like a novel for that reason. Milne creates a sense of space by describing the areas around. It just draws you in the way he has the words written out to make your imagination work. I like that there are a couple of pictures that kind of get your mind like thinking about the surroundings. Like one of my favorite pictures is where Pooh is stuck in Rabbit's hole, and you just kind of imagine like all the things around them and the animals being like, oh, why is he stuck? What is going on here? So I think that that's an interesting part of the way the book is written. And I think it's important that you know that there's a lot of space in the forest, like when they go on adventures, that they are really like traveling, and it's maybe not as big as they feel like it is, kind of like when you're a kid and something feels so big, like you're at the park and it feels so big because you're so little, but then as an adult you're like, I can walk this lots of times, you know? With creating a character, Melnies uses several types of description, so like actually describing the character, but putting in words that kind of give you the idea of like what Pooh's thinking, like when he says, "Oh bother," like who, that is just the cutest thing, you know, he's just a sweet little bear trying to do his best, and that I think was really clever on his part to add in just little sayings like that that make the character come to life and make him real. Winnie the Pooh's motivation in life does seem to be honey. However, he has a caring heart, so you can tell that he always is worried about his friends, and even though he gets sidetracked by honey a lot, I feel like he just knows what he, like they were saying, what he's capable of. I think that it's important that Winnie the Pooh feels like he can't do things, but then he ends up doing them. And I think that goes to show not only self-awareness, but also that drive to just keep going. Even if you don't know what you're headed into, just keep doing it. I am not sure what makes this book a classic. I feel like it's just always been a classic in my mind. Like, I don't know the reasoning behind it. It's just like everybody loves it. So maybe because the different variation of characters connect to people in different ways. So like, not really with this book, but with other Winnie the Pooh characters, like I referred to Tigger before, I have a very positive outlook, and I like try to see things and live life and do things in that way. But then I have my very like Eeyore days where I'm just, nothing goes right, and I spilled all over the floor, and I broke my favorite cup, and I started my car and it, you know, backed into the garbage can. It's just, sometimes you have those gray, rainy days, and I think that everybody gets hungry like Pooh. Everybody wants to not be hungry, you know? Well, sometimes when you're so hungry, that's all you can think about. And I just feel like the characters are so relatable. Everyone has a friend like Owl or Rabbit who want, like, pretend to know everything or are a little grumpy, and you still love them, and that's important. So I think the connections that are made are what makes this book classic.